Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Showcase on Dark Souls 3. Now, the short bow was a true disappointment. Yes, it truly was. But this one's pretty much the same thing, more powerful though. Then I kind of wonder why the short bow even exists in the first place. Today's weapon is the Composite Bow. Another short bow, but just more powerful. Kind of defeats the entire idea of the short bow then. But no matter, this is a direct upgrade. Now, the description of this weapon reads: Composite short bow emphasizes power, making it sized for quick shots. Though more powerful than standard bows, it still requires more strength of the user, and its range is short. The skill is the familiar Rapid Fire. Swiftly notch arrows with finesse after drawing the bow, allowing for consecutive shots. So the same move as the short bow. Now, visually, it looks just like another composite bow, although a little more simpler in nature. The composite bow, compared to other bows, is usually made from horn, wood, and sinew, all glued together, or this would be formerly known as a laminate bow, or today's terms I guess. Yes, so when you glue these things together, apply pressure, and let it dry, and etc. repeat process. Then in the end you get a bow that's more resistant to pulling and tension, thus making more power in each pull. The only drawback to doing this is it takes more time to make these bows and they're more susceptible to moisture. But because of its firepower, it was more formerly used in warfare, where the short bow and long bow may have been more akin to earlier types of battles or hunting. The composite bow was made to kill people, from what I've read anyway. Made early as the Ming Dynasty all the way back then. So it's been in the world for a very long time. It's been killing people for just as long. It's pretty much comparing today's term, the 9mm to the 44. One clearly does its job a lot better than the other. Now, if we're going on stats and weird comparisons, physically we got average damage. Specifically average damage. 100 damage pretty much. Now it is slightly weaker than the short bow, but the bonus is stronger. Slightly stronger. Now in range, we got 42 range, which is the same as a short bow, which we'll be verifying later, if it has or not. For the achievement bonus, we got 2 Ds, one for strength, one for dexterity. They're both equal. Well, the same can be said about the achievement requirement. Strength and dexterity both need to be 12, which is a strange stat, because you'd be more leaning on the dexterity side at that point if you're putting that much effort into it. Then the special move, Rapid Fire, which takes 4 FP regardless which arrow type you use. The weight of the weapon is 3.5, so it's still relatively light. It should be for its size. So all in all, it's what we expect. A short bow that's a little bit better than the previous version. Alright, for firing this, the firing animation is relatively fast. However, when you go to the special stance, you see something familiar. Of course, we can make a Robin Hood joke again, but I think that's already been used. Robin didn't kill people excessively, which his bow is meant to do. Now, for the range, luckily since they're both bow and arrows, traditional sense, they seem to have the same range. From this shot, there seems to be a very light drop, not really much at all, so its optimum range is this far, from this end of the room to the other. However, just going beyond that is where it starts to drop off greatly. For at that range, we see the drop-off going to roughly a couple feet to up to a meter, so quite a bit indeed at that point. When upgrading the composite bow, you'll need Titanite shards. Now, again, this is more than wood now. You got bone, possibly, a horn, whatever. When upgrading it, you get a modest amount of points. You got 7 for the physical, and then you got 6 or so, 6 to 7 for the bonus. Alright, let's hope the true bonus changes for once. That would be nice on all these bows. But will it? We do not know. So going forward, we got actually decent bulked bonus damage going in there. It's consistent, it's decent going somewhere. But we do not see the true bonus changing at all. Yet again, here we are, and they remain a D. And since it cannot be infused, it is forever going to be a D. It's always disappointing, isn't it? Always. So now for a side-by-side comparison, you can see that in fact the short bow is stronger, but our bonus is a lot stronger. A lot stronger this time around. for this review, I'll be using the standard arrow. Nothing fancy, nothing weak. Just a standard arrow. Not the wooden one, the standard one. Okay, on to performance. The short bow failed me in the end, so hopefully the composite bow will do better. Let's start off with a headshot, shall we? Very nice, 200 damage. Okay, so this bow is all about speed and a little bit more firepower, and we definitely see that actually, look. Huh, in that short amount of time, I'm really laying into him pretty quick. That's actually effective. This is a second playthrough. Where short bow lacked its firepower, this is usable. This is usable. Not just I turned into a porcupine. As amusing it is, it actually worked. In a timely manner. I wouldn't say it's the best weapon, no. It's still lacking. But compared to the other bows so far, this actually killed that knight in a quick, effective manner. Which is nice. The only question is, can it do any good for against the shield? Now, I did bring with me, as you see in my equipment, a dagger. I'm not overpowered, but I don't plan to be, well, battered to death when I'm trying. Okay, that wasn't planned. Okay then. I'm not sure how I knocked him over like that, but it sure was amusing. Now we can see the arrows do not go through his shield at all. I don't think my dagger would do much here. Yeah, my dagger's not going to do much. But oh well. In fact, I think I get hurt more using my dagger. Maybe it was a bad idea to bring that. Anyway, let's fight the Gorgal. It'll speed up the footage in the interest of time. As you can see here, it's using by 11 arrows, which are dirt cheap by the way. I could buy like 500 of these for 10,000 souls. It actually cuts through my opponent relatively quickly. It's only when he gets towards the end of the shield up is no good. Now against the Black Knight is where a test of time will show. As the short bow, I died using that. But, however, aiming in between my opponent's raising and lowering a shield actually is getting me somewhere. I didn't have to really use that dagger at all. Just being careful and dodging his maneuvers. As much as you aren't supposed to use bows like this, you can actually use the bow like this. Very amusing. Very amusing indeed. Alright, let's move on to the pros and cons of the composite bow. On the pros, it has decent damage. And good DPS. And the ammunition can be cheap and expensive as you want. I guess I'll say that as a pro. Alright. For cons, it still won't put a stop to enemies' tracks, so I guess low stopping power. But to be honest, I kind of think that's the only drawback to this weapon, is its low stopping power. I think that's for bows in general, but I think that's the only con here. But let's go on to the score for this composite bow. For damage, I'll give a respectable 5 out of 10. It's not horrible. It's not amazing either, but it's good enough. For range, for the same as the short bow, we'll give it a 7 out of 10. And the speed is also the same, so also a 7 out of 10. Bonus, the short bow got a 3, I'll give this one a 5. It wasn't a really heavy bonus, but you know what? It's a bonus that actually worked. It actually felt like, my massive attributes actually contributed towards that damage. And for misc, the short bow got 3, I'll give this one a 5 out of 10. It's actually can be used. If this is the first playthrough, it would actually be an incredibly effective weapon. Second playthrough, it's just now showing its shortcomings, but hey, that's a second playthrough. It's actually useful. So in total, I give the composite bow 29 out of 50, which is good. Won't call it exceptional, but it's good. So luckily for the bow and arrow, it didn't take that long to find a good weapon. I was kind of worried there for a minute after the longbow. But luckily, the bows and arrows aren't horrible. They're just different. And that's exactly what it is. It's ranged warfare. And I'm violating every rule of ranged warfare, but whatever. It's a review. And that's been Showcase for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'd like to see you guys next time. Take care out there.